All right, welcome in to this week's episode of the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kobold, and back with me today is my guy, Max Faulkner. Max, a lot of rumors been swirling about you, what's been going on, but some people been saying it's been a dark closet like your boy Aaron Rodgers. Is that
Oh,
true?
that's the rumors going around, huh? Yeah, no,
Rumors.
I find myself, and then after picking my butt for the past 2 weeks and sniffing my fingers, I finally decided I'm going to go sign with the New York Jets. You know,
Oh,
I'm just going to take a leap of faith, and there's a lot of things that your butthole can tell you, and it's telling me the New York Jets.
okay, Aaron. Well, that's breaking news here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. We weren't expecting that today. But great to have you back, broski. Speaking of butts, you said you had something about your butt to tell me.
Oh, do I? Oh, yeah, geez, man. Okay, so, well, first of all, it's great to be back. Thanks. I'm happy to be talking sports with my buddy, and
Hasn't
uh,
been the same without you, broski. Hasn't been the same.
I missed it. I missed you all. Yeah, no, I was in Mexico for a little bit. Got to have a nice time with family. My wife is Mexican, so it was nice to see her family and everything. But as soon as we got back, all right, I'm jumping right into work. Okay, I'm a personal trainer, and I got a new client, so I'm very excited. I was very excited about it.
Nice.
But anyway, just skipping forward here, it's our second session. Okay, and right before the session, okay, I had a good lift in with my wife. My wife's like, "Hey, you want me to make you a protein shake? I'll make you a protein shake." And I was like, "Okay, great." Right before the session, okay, so have this shake. Then I head on over to my client's place. All right, so I'm just training her normally. Okay, once again, this is session number two. All right, this is session two. I'm getting to know this lady, and she's very quiet when she works out. She doesn't talk very often. I'm the one that's talking to her. Okay, but I started feeling this grumble in my stomach. All right. All right. And I
You
was
knew
like,
what it
oh,
was.
yeah, oh, yeah. Oh. But something's not right here. But I'm like, you know what? I got about 40 more minutes. Yeah,
Pinch
I
it.
got, yeah,
Pinch it.
I'm a pro. Okay. I'm able to hold a dump in for a couple hours at a time sometimes. You kidding me? In
Ooh.
LA where you're going to go pull over to McDonald's? No.
No, no way. No way.
You're waiting this bad boy out, and then you're going to go home and sit on your throne rather than go sit in the dirty ass, homeless infested McDonald's toilet. Uh, so anyway, so I'm like, I got to shit. I really got to shit, and this doesn't happen very often. Where I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm gonna poop my pants. Uh, I got to a point where I was squeezing my butt cheek so tight that I had to put my hand around and give it a little extra squeeze.
Whoa, a reach
I
around?
had
Did
together
a reach around?
my cheeks together with my hand. Okay, and
Wow.
of course, okay. I just told you that she doesn't talk very often. She goes ahead and starts telling me a story. Okay, this is when she tells me a story when I'm about to shit my pants. Okay, so she's telling the story, and then I'm like, oh, please get to the end. And as soon as she's done, I'm like, oh, wow, like, yeah, no, that's, yeah. Can I use your bathroom, please? And she's like, oh yeah, of course, it's all the way down the right, whatever. Okay, I I am pinching my butt cheeks, right? I'm like, oh, why don't you, if you could do a plank while I could, so she's not
Plank it.
waddling, man. I'm waddling. I am waddling like a duck, pinching my butt cheeks. Okay, get into the bathroom, and as soon as I pull down my pants, I am surprised that like I didn't even sit down. My that shit came out, and luckily
Wow.
in the toilet. I didn't get on the seat, so that's the good news. But it all
Courtesy.
went
Courtesy.
poured out of me, just poured me, like a fucking waterfall. It was watery, shitty. I tried to light, I had to light a candle because I'm embarrassed.
More
Uh,
courtesy.
but anyway, you see, it all comes back to me finally realizing I can't have protein shakes anymore. Shakes make me shit.
Right
Oh
through
yeah,
you.
like if you're constipated, this for everyone out there, if you're constipated and you're struggling with that situation, instead of taking like Pepto Bismol or anything like that, just have a protein shake. because it's going to come right out.
Yeah.
Especially after all the Mexican food that I had.
Ooh, backed up.
Backed up a little bit. And so the protein shake was like, oh, let's get all that out. And I 5 pounds for after. So I mean, I'm not, and then of course I play it off as I walk back. I was like, oh man, geez, I started drinking coffee again, and whew, I just had to like, oh yeah, coffee will do that.
Blamed it on coffee. Speaking of
Ooh.
coffee, we're gonna talk a little bit about coffee later. But dang, I can remember one time in Jacksonville at my brother's house, he gave me a protein shake with some shit in it. And I tore up his toilet that day. So every once in a while they can get you.
Definitely. Definitely. She had a nice bathroom too. Like obviously they have money. Like it was so clean. It smelled so fresh in there. I hope there was obviously like a piano playing. There was some music in the background playing. I don't know if it was throughout the house or if it was specifically for the bathroom. It seems like playing. But it was nice. I would, what? I might think about taking a protein shake again just to witness that toilet seat.
Just to go back in and destroy it. Okay, you just met this lady. Jeez, you animal.
Yeah, I'm abusing her right now. I shouldn't be talking about that. I appreciate it. Hey.
All right, Max. On the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast here, we talk about a lot of sports. We don't just we're not a fantasy football podcast. We're not a college basketball podcast, but we cover a bunch of sports. All respect to golf and tennis and soccer. We're not going to talk about you, okay?
We don't know much about that.
No.
So our apologies. Maybe as we continue with this podcast, we'll start learning a little bit more about that. But I don't have much to say about golf and tennis.
Yeah, and we can open up our horizons to new guests and they come on and give us intel on those sports. But this week, today, we're talking NFL drafts, and we're also talking a little baseball for the first time. But let's hold the baseball talk to the end. Let's get into this draft. The draft's in 2 weeks, Max. Are you ready for that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I love the NFL draft. As much as I wish I knew all the players' names, but there's so many players in football. Come on, it's 11 plus defense has another 11. So it's 22 players on the field plus reserve. How many players on the team? 40? 40 it's something ridiculous.
I believe it's 53.
It's hard to pay attention, especially to like the big defensive tackles and offensive tackles and stuff like that. So
you can't.
So today we will definitely be discussing what everyone knows, which is quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and we're even going to squeeze in some tight ends because the offensive player is what people at least know about. No respect and no disrespect to the defensive players. I love a good defensive guy. The Bears are going to be drafted defensively, by the way. We'll talk about that on another time or next week. I think we're going to talk about the draft, but. Yeah, but today, Breezy, let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about the top players in the NFL draft.
Heck yeah, man. Let's start right here with the quarterbacks, and we got the same guy at the top, and this kind of changed. Odds for this happening kind of changed over the last week, but we both got Bryce Young out of Alabama. Max, he's 5'10", 204 pounds. Are you worried about his height?
Oh, you definitely got to be a little worried about it. I know that I believe if I'm not mistaken, I believe people are comparing him to Kyler Murray already. And yeah, that's great. Kyler Murray has been in the league for 3 years now, and he hasn't exactly done anything that would make you seem like, oh, this is a franchise quarterback. He's been nothing but hurt.
ACL now.
ACL? Oh, geez.
Yeah. So Bryce Young, he won the Heisman 2 years ago. He was sixth in the Heisman last year. He threw 47 tutties last year, and then 47 tutties 2 years ago when he won the Heisman, and then 32 last year. So those 79 touchdowns are the most in the SEC in a 2-year span. So that's a lot of tutties.
That is a lot of touchdowns. No doubt about it. And that's why we have him at number one. This guy knows how to chuck the ball and he can run. So, I know we try to talk about a new brand of quarterback these days, of quarterback being able to run the ball. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily actually is. I mean, it is to an advantage right when they first come into the league, right? See, I understand that football, football is it's different than baseball. We'll get into baseball, but my point of the reason I'm comparing the two is that football, they want it now. They want a Super Bowl now, right?
Yeah.
Like Bryce Young, and you're immediately like, okay, 1 or 2 years, we're going to be in the playoffs. Okay. Baseball, on the other hand, you take 4, 5, 108 years to win a World
Series. 108. Yeah. Yeah.
Cubs fan. So as far as Bryce Young goes, he's a raw talent, but how long is he going to last, Cole Breezy?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Maybe we see these young guys coming in and being more mobile in their first few years because the hits add up. The hits add up. They take a toll on the body, mentally and physically. But we both got Bryce Young, top quarterback. We believe he's going to be the number one pick to the Panthers. And talking about a team that wants it right now, they spent a lot of money this offseason, and Panthers could win that division.
Yeah. I think so. I think so. You would think that because they gave up DJ Moore, that maybe, but they got some great draft picks. They are going to get they have the number one pick, and hey, why not? Wide open.
Both of our second quarterbacks here is C.J. Stroud from Ohio State, 6'3", 214. He was third in the Heisman last year, fourth in the Heisman the year before that. This guy's a stud. It's looking like 85 tutties over the last 2 years, so that's even more than Bryce Young. Did in the Big Ten Conference. What do you think about C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State?
I think this guy's a stud. He definitely has more of the frame of a quarterback, I would say. 6'3". He can take a hit or two, right? He's going to be there for a little bit. Yeah, he can run actually too. He's not bad at running.
Mm-hmm.
But the ball, and so in the long run, I think Stroud is a better option. I know I have Young first because I know he's going first. Okay, that's why. Okay, but I think Stroud in the long run, this might be your quarterback that you actually want for a franchise.
I just heard a rumor today that Houston, sitting at number 2, is not so sure about what you just said. So, we're going to hear rumors every day over these next 2 weeks. We don't know what's true, but they might be looking defense there at number 2.
Are you serious? What, Davis Mills? That's who they want as a. Okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead and do that. We'll see how you feel when you pick up a defensive player that decides to leave in 3 years.
Sounds like Houston for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Peanut Butter and Jelly, Davis Mills. Shout out to him on this week's podcast, huh?
Talk about
Max, these next 3 guys here at the quarterback position, we got the same 3, but we got them in a different order. I'm going number 3, Anthony Richardson, 6'5", 250 from Florida. And then I got Will Levis from Kentucky, number 4, and then I got Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, number 5. What's your order there, Max?
So, first of all, I did not know Anthony Richardson was 6'5", 250. Did you say?
Looking like Cam Newton. Looking like Cam Newton.
That's a big boy. That's going to be hard to take down. Yeah. So I have Hendon Hooker, Anthony Richardson, and then Will Levis.
Yep.
Is that it? Yeah. That's. The reason I like Hooker is because Tennessee had a hell of a season last year. Really good. They beat Alabama. Am I not mistaken?
They did. Yeah, they did.
He's a good player. And once again, with the rushing ability that he has, he's a quarterback that someone's going to want to go get because that's where the NFL is trying to head. So that's why I got Hendon Hooker first. But man, I did not know about Anthony Richardson, 6'5", 250. Oh boy.
let's just to talk about Hendon Hooker real quick here. He played 5 years, the first 3 at Virginia Tech. You talk about the rushing ability. I'm sitting here looking at 25 rushing tutties over those 5 years. He was 5th in the Heisman last year. But Max, this is why I got him at number 5. He's coming off a torn ACL, and he's already 25 years old. He's already 25. Where, as we mentioned, Anthony Richardson sitting at number 3 for me, 6'5", 250, is only 20 years old. This guy's 5 years younger. Now, Anthony Richardson, the stats aren't there. The stats just aren't there. But we saw 9 rushing tutties last year, over 650 rushing yards and 9 tutties. So he's looking like Cam Newton, probably going to sit a year. But I know our boys that love the Colts. I know they want him.
Wow. So the Colts are going after him as a back.
Yeah, that's
this. You heard this from Sam.
Sam and Queef Wilson, and they even are a little nervous about having to move up to number 3, having to trade to go up one spot. They think that they might have to do to get this guy.
Yeah. You know, that's why I had Richardson at 4 because his stats aren't there.
It's not there.
This is why you listen to Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast, boys. This is why, because Cole Breezy's here letting me know I didn't know Hooker was ACL. I had no idea. Okay, maybe I should know this stuff, but hey, Cole Breezy's on top of it. He definitely slides down lower after hearing about that, no doubt.
And then the last quarterback here, there's a lot of rumors about this guy going to the Colts at number 4. Will Levis, 6'4", 230 from Kentucky. Spent his first 2 years at Penn State. I'm counting 17 rushing tutties over 4 years, so he's got a little ability on the ground, big guy. Max, did you see about him putting mayonnaise in his coffee?
I didn't know. What is this?
So, allegedly, reportedly, he was out with his girlfriend for breakfast. They got some coffee, and there was no cream, no sugar, no nothing to put in your coffee. So she said, "Why don't you just put the mayo in?" So he squirts it in there and mixes it up, and says it's not bad. And I've seen him do it again, and it might be a thing he's running with. People say it's just for show. It's not a real thing, but I've seen him do it multiple times now, Max. I don't drink coffee. Never had a cup of Joe in my life. Had a sip, but never a cup in my life. Don't like it. I know you like it. Would you ever put mayo in your coffee?
Dude, this sounds like one of those. You ever hear of Yes Man?
Sounds familiar.
You ever see the movie Yes Man, and there's actually a game called Yes Man. And what it is that if you are the Yes Man, you have to say yes to everything. This sounds like a situation where his girlfriend said, "Hey, why don't you have some mayonnaise in your? Wouldn't you like to have some mayonnaise in your coffee?" And he goes, "Yes, man." And then he drinks, and then because there's no way you put mayonnaise in coffee. That's disgusting. What a weirdo. That's that. You don't want that weirdo on your team, Indianapolis. You don't want that.
Yeah, just hearing about that, he's at number 4 for me, but I think the Colts would be silly to take him there.
No way. I think that Richardson choice. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to look more into him.
20 years old, boys. And I think a fun fact about these top 5 quarterbacks, 4 out of the 5 are from the SEC. The SEC rules college football.
Part of the reason, well, actually, I was going to say UK, they're not known for quarterbacks, just so everyone knows. They're not. Name unless anyone out there, if you can name a quarterback that is in the NFL that actually was successful from UK, please, I would like to know. I can't think of any.
There was somebody there. The last. What was that?
Tennessee had Peyton Manning, right? Ohio State, plenty of quarterbacks. Okay, we don't need to get detailed on Ohio State. Okay, Bama, obviously. Okay, Florida.
Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah, Tim Tebow, Rex Grossman. Not as good of quarterbacks as I was actually thinking for Florida, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. Anyway,
we'll have to do a deep dive into those schools. Speaking of the SEC conference, moving into the running backs, we got a guy from the Texas Longhorns that's going to be playing in the SEC very soon. Bijan Robinson, 5'11", 215. He's 21 years old. Boy, oh boy, he had over 1,500 yards on the ground last year. We play in a 2-keeper league, Max, so the top 20 guys are gone. Bijan Robinson very well could be the #1 pick in our draft this year.
I was just going to mention that, Cole Breezy. Yes, this is a first round pick. Top five pick. How many years have we had where a running back came out of the into the NFL from the draft, and he ended up being the #1 pick in our fantasy draft? Najee Harris was my first overall pick a couple years back, and I'm still debating whether or not to keep him this year because tough year last year. But Najee Harris is oh my god, he's a beast. If you have Najee Harris on your team and you're in a keeper league and you're not thinking about keeping him, then you better have 2 better players. Because Najee Harris is a franchise player, and what a personality.
Yeah, Najee's probably top 10. But Bijan Robinson, 18 touchdowns last year, two receiving, so 20 touchdown season. I think this guy is a first-round pick, and I've seen some people even have him in their top 10.
He's definitely my top running back. I think he's definitely my top running back right now.
Moving on to the #2 running back, we both got Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. Spent his first 2 years at Georgia Tech. 5'9", 199. Might be a little too small.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Bama running back, but I don't know. He might be one of those backups in RB2, But I do have him at #2 just because he did tear it up in Bama.
Yeah, he did tear it up. 926 rushing yards, 7 tutties, 444 receiving yards, and 3 receiving scores. Third running back here for me, we differ on the third spot here. I got Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. Went up to Eugene, Oregon last year with Justina. Shout out Justina. And we saw a top 10 battle. College Game Day was there. Oregon actually won this game 45-30, but Zach Charbonnet had 20 for $151 and a score. Just a bruiser, 6 foot 222. Spent his first 2 years at Michigan. Back-to-back years, over 1,100 yards. This guy's a bruiser.
Nice, very nice. Nice. That was a fun game to go to, no doubt about it.
Top 10 battle, College Game Day. There, it was a juicy one, and the Ducks took it home.
Nice. I do have him as my running back right next to this guy. The only reason I'm putting Tyjae Spears ahead of him because that game against USC, I want to say it was the Cotton Bowl. If anyone can, check me on that. Thought it was the Cotton Bowl, but he just tore up USC. He had like 3 rushing touchdowns. He might have had 2 receiving touchdowns in a championship game. This guy catches the ball and he runs, and he's stocky and he's thick, and I think he's hard to take down. I know he's only, what is he, 5'10"? He might be shorter.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Might be shorter, but he's a fun guy to watch. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Frank Gore. Remember Frank Gore?
Oh yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of him, only that he catches the ball a little bit better.
Frank Gore, man, at the running back position, he played so many years.
Oh yeah.
Mostly with the Giants and the Colts.
Gotta respect a guy that was a running back that was able to go double digits in years.
Oh yeah.
Years, like he just kept playing. He just nonstop wanted to keep going. So shout out to Frank Gore. What a hell of a player.
Hell yeah. Moving into the receivers here, we differ on the top spot. This was the toughest one for me at the top. I went with Quentin Johnson out of TCU, 6'3", 208. He's got the body, over 1,000 yards and 6 tutties last year. Went to the playoffs and championship game, got their ass beat by Georgia, but I think he could be a first-round pick this year.
Nice. I got him at number 2. Okay, he is very good. Excuse me, he is very good. But I got Jackson Smith Njigba. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Hey, Ohio State. If there's one thing Ohio State always produces, is wide receivers.
Yep.
I'm telling you, a wide receiver school. So yeah, he's going to come out like he was great last year, a few years ago when he was playing with who's the guy from the Saints? Damn it, the guy from the Saints now.
So 2 years ago, the year you're mentioning, he played with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Two first-round picks he played with 2 years ago. He had 95 catches for 1,600 yards and 9 tutties with those two guys. And there was an interview with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. They asked them who the best receiver was on that team, and they both said Jackson Smith and Njigba. So this guy is a first-round pick. The 2021 Rose Bowl versus Utah, he had 15 catches for 347 yards and 3 tutties. Holy shit.
Whoa. That's whoa. I just got the chills. Oh my goodness. Is that a quarterback out there? Was he throwing the ball? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, got me a little worked up. So we got the same top 2, and then my third receiver, I got Jordan Addison out of USC. He spent his first 2 years at Pittsburgh. 2 years ago at Pittsburgh, he had almost 1,600 yards and 17 touchdowns with Kenny Pickett. So he cashed that in, goes to USC for 1 year. But Max, we were just talking about Jahmyr Gibbs' size. Jordan Addison's 5'11", 173. You're sitting looking at a guy about 5'11", 173 right here. And I'm not going to try to compare myself athletically to Jordan Addison because that's not a discussion. But this body right here cannot hold up in the NFL. So Jordan Addison's my third receiver, but good luck holding up at 5'11", 173, buddy.
He is also my third wide receiver. I do have him there because he's had a hell of a college experience. But we were definitely discussing this before the show, and I gotta say, like, what are they expecting from this guy? Are they looking at a potential another Tyreek Hill situation? Like, catch me if you can, which when have we, since Tyreek Hill has been in the league, have we seen anyone else like Tyreek Hill? It was a rare. We have not. Come on, it's a rare raw talent of Tyreek Hill. I mean, if Jordan Addison comes in and does that, then he proved us wrong, obviously. But I just don't see. He's tiny and he's going to get hit a lot, and he better put on some muscle.
Outside of those top 2 receivers, I think it's a little bit of a weak wide receiver class this year. Wrapping up real quick here with the tight ends. If this guy's not number 1 on your board, I don't want to see the rest of your tight end board. But it's Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame for me. 6'4", 250, 21 years old. 2 years ago, he set single-season records for a tight end with 71 catches, 840 yards. Then last year, he had 9 tutties, which was a tight end record. And he had 3 seasons at Notre Dame. He is the career leader for tight ends in catches, yards, and tutties. So we know all about all the great tight ends out of Notre Dame. Tyler Eifert, Kyle Rudolph, John Carlson, Anthony Fasano, Cole Kmet recently, just to name a few. This guy is the leader in 3 years in catches, yards, and tutties from the tight end position at the University of Notre Dame. So he 18 touchdowns is the career leader for tight ends at Notre Dame. My dad, shout out my dad. He saw a lot. He's an usher in the end zone. He saw a lot of those tutties firsthand. Is Michael Mayer number 1 for you, Max?
It is. He is number 1. All right. Those stats alone, what you said, is exactly why this guy's going to be a stud in the NFL. I hope he gets a team that has a quarterback that's going to throw it to him. I would like to see those stats continue to grow, especially at the next level.
very well could be a first-round pick. Probably should be. Probably should be. And I think he could even be fantasy relevant as a rookie on the right team, as you said, with the right quarterback. Number 2 for the tight end position for both of us, we got Dalton Kincaid, 6'4", 246 out of Utah. 23 years old. He's played 5 seasons. Lost a season to injury, but he had 27 tutties in those 4 years and 890 yards last year. So solid big body tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that I just hope that injury doesn't affect him in the NFL. That's all I got to say. But this guy can catch the ball. He can definitely get some touchdowns there.
Yeah, 70 catches last year at the tight end position. That's a good amount.
A lot.
Third tight end for me is the big dog out of Georgia, Darnell Washington. This guy's 6'7", 264, 21 years old. Just like Anthony Richardson, the stats aren't there. This guy has 45 career catches. 45 career catches. He's going to be more of a blocker. And shit, put him in the backfield at fullback. Give him a handoff. Who's stopping that? 6'7", 264. He's an animal.
Yeah, I like that idea of the fullback. Let's bring back the '85 Bears. Let's get the fridge in the end zone. Yeah, this guy's huge. No doubt going to be a huge blocker, but he's definitely going to get some plays for a touchdown or two. And I wonder who's going to get him. I wonder.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be probably a mid-round pick for Darnell Washington. All right, so that wraps up our NFL draft talk for this week. And like we said, we're going to transition now that March Madness is over. We're transitioning into baseball. Yeah, I know. We're transitioning into baseball. College basketball is my favorite too, Max. March is the best time of the year, and shout out again, UConn Huskies. Congrats to you guys. But we're moving into baseball. Max, new prop for the background of this podcast today. I'm surprised you haven't said nothing. Slamming Sammy. Slamming Sammy, boys. As you know, I wasn't really. I liked baseball, but I sucked at it. So I was more into basketball and football. But Sammy Sosa, growing up in northern Indiana, Sammy Sosa was my favorite player as a boy.
Sure. Oh yeah, man. Back in the '90s, early 2000s, when we had Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey Jr., A-Rod in his prime, Derek Jeter, like these are, oh my gosh, what a fun time to be a baseball fan. And this is one thing I got to bring up when it comes to baseball. Okay, sadly, as the years have gone by, our attention spans, and I think it's more of the children of these days compared to I think I have a pretty decent attention span. Okay.
Sure.
But everyone's attention span has just shortened. Okay. So baseball to them, you just say, oh, I can't watch this. It's so boring. I can't, we got to speed it up. We got to do a pitch clock now. We got to make sure the batter's in the box in 10 seconds because we need to speed up this game. Baseball wasn't meant for that. Like baseball is such a hard sport. Okay. If you are sitting there and saying that this is boring, then you obviously don't know how to play it. You don't know how to play baseball. Fair enough, because it's very freaking hard. How about you go into the box, adjust yourself in 10 seconds, and then get a 100-mile-an-hour baseball thrown at you? Okay? Your nerves are all over the place. Okay? Or how about this? Okay? It's the bottom of the ninth. Okay? They're juiced. 2 outs. You're a pitcher on the mound, and apparently you have to pitch the ball within 10 seconds and try to close out that game to get the win. Like the fact that they're doing this, it's stupid. Okay, I think the shot clock is stupid. Okay, I will be the person to call that out. Baseball is meant to try to calm the nerves. You know why people like baseball players have so much chaw in their mouth, so much tobacco? To chill their fucking nerves out. That's exactly the reason.
The old tobacco.
You ever see our baseball player with a big wad of gum blowing a chew? They got to chew on something, sunflower seeds. Like that's why they're doing this stuff, because they got to calm the nerves. Anyway, baseball is an amazing sport. Okay, if you have a short attention span, I'm sorry. Watch baseball highlights. Then baseball highlights are amazing. These catches, these diving plays, the home runs like over 500 feet.
Ooh.
at the wall, a pitcher that strikes out 15 batters. Like this is, I'm like, look at some of the spin that some of these pitchers have. Like how it starts out on your face and ends up in the dirt. Like how in the hell do you do that? It's nasty.
Yeah, there's a lot of skill involved in baseball. And to start our baseball talk for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast here, we're going to make a couple predictions for the division winners. And we want to start right here in the AL East. Max, today, Thursday, we saw the Tampa Bay Rays go to 13-0, which ties the best start in MLB history. Do you have them continuing this and winning the division?
I do. I do. A Bay. First of all, this is a very fun division. Okay, very fun division. Okay, it's great to see. It used to always be New York. It used to always be the Yankees and the Red Sox. That was it. That was it. That's what it was. Obviously, the Orioles back in the day when they had the shorts. I'll get back to
Cal
it. Sorry,
Ripken
Jr. When they had him, obviously, but now it's Tampa Bay. It's New York. It's the Blue Jays. It's the Orioles even that are in there. The Red Sox are going to be on the bottom in my pick. But yes, I do have the Tampa Bay Rays. They are a hell of a team. Look at their lineup. They're all under 25. They're very young, and
That's
they
young.
can hit. They're a strategic baseball team, and their pitching staff is pretty damn good.
Tampa Bay Rays are having a historic start to the season, but I'm going to be the guy to shit on their parade. And I think the Yankees are only about 4.5 behind them right now. So Yankees with all those bats. I like Garrett Cole. I'm going Yankees. I'll be the queef, and I'll go Yankees.
That's okay. I think the Yankees are going to make the playoffs, but I actually have them third in this division, boys. Okay, I wanted to stir up a little distress here. I wanted to stir it up. I got on the Blue Jays at number 2. They are also a super young team. They have some of their bats on that team. You're going to have Vladimir Guerrero, who's going to hit 40 home runs. That can easily hit over 30. Come on, and they have a bunch of other bats. Okay, but anyway, and their pitching staff is really good. So look out for the Blue Jays. Okay, this is a fun division. Might be the funnest in the entire league, to be honest.
Yeah, Blue Jays could very well make the playoffs. Vladdy Guerrero, did he slip to you at number 8 in our fantasy baseball drafts? Was that right?
Number 9 in the. And I don't know how I got him. I do not.
Steal.
That's exactly what I was like, well, if Vladdy slips to 9, he's mine. And okay, he was my number 1 on the big board. I was like, okay, sounds good.
I was looking at number 4. I went with Freddie Freeman, but great pick by you at number 9, Vladdy Guerrero. Moving on to the AL Central here. I don't get excited about this division. I don't. We got the Tigers that suck ass every year, but Cleveland, we've seen a couple injuries to their pitching staff. I'm gonna go the Minnesota Twins, taking the AL Central.
I am still going the Guardians because it's a long season. It's a long season, and
Marathon.
I think they have the coaching. Okay, and we have the Guardians pitcher, the Shane Bieber, who I also got in the draft. I don't know, I'm pretty happy about that. But when you have some leadership like that, I think that they're gonna. This is a division where the Guardians might have 90 wins. You know, they might have 90 wins and end up winning. It's not like Tampa Bay and the Yankees going to be over 100, probably more than likely. So I have the Guardians and then the Twins, and then I have the White Sox. That's
same.
Yeah.
I got the White Sox third there too. Moving on to the AL West. This is a fun division here too. We saw Seattle make the playoffs last year for the first time in I don't know how many years, and yeah, everybody loves the Angels with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, but Texas, I'm liking Texas with what they did to their pitching staff with the upgrades there. But damn it, I'm going with the Astros. I'm going with the Astros to win.
You can't go against the Astros. World Series champions, Dusty Baker as their coach, underrated coach, by the way. Yeah, Houston Astros are on top. I have Seattle at number 2, and then I have actually the Rangers at number 3 with Jacob deGrom and some of their pickup, like you said, some of those pickups that they have. So yeah. Angels on the bottom. Something's going on in that organization. They're going to trade Shohei, and everyone's going to be disappointed.
I would hate to see him leave. I got the Rangers number 2 with picking up Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. They're a little surprise for you.
Like that.
Moving on to the NL, we'll look at the NL East here first. This is another fun one here. We're gonna have a good race like we always do in this division. But I got the Braves in the end winning this thing.
I do too. I also have the Braves at number 1. I think they have one of the best players in baseball in Ronald Acuna Jr., as well as some of the best pitchers that you're going to see in Max Fried. Yeah, I have them. I have them winning again, and then also I do have the Philadelphia Phillies at number 2, a close number 2.
Same.
Also,
Mets third there.
Also number 3. Yeah.
NL Central. I know it's your favorite division. I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah, so the NL Central, it's not going to be that fun of a year. Okay, I have the St. Louis Cardinals winning this. Okay, their team is too damn good. Okay, I said this last year, when you have corners and Nolan Arenado and an MVP and Paul Goldschmidt, like those two alone already, you're like, oh shit, that's a hell of a team. Then they picked up Wilson Contreras because the Cubs couldn't figure out how to trade him apparently or sign him. That pisses me off. I do have the Brewers at number 2 because the Brewers have one of the best pitching staffs that I have seen. Like their pitching dominating. Okay, they can playoff. And then hey, I have to toss in the Cubs at number 3, and this is the reason why. It's because Cubs aren't making the playoffs. Okay, but our organization is showing, hey, we're heading in the right direction. So we're going to get number 3, and the next year we're going to get some draft picks, and we're going to make some signs in the offseason. But this isn't the year we're going to make it. I hope they do, but they're not.
I got the Cubs there third with you, but I got the top 2 flipped. Like you said, that pitching staff for the Brewers, Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, our guy Eric Lauer. I got the Brewers winning this division. Cardinals number 2.
Like it.
Last division here, NL West, a juicy division every year. I think we see the Arizona Diamondbacks leading that division right now. Let's not anybody jump out of their seats. But this thing's going to come down to the Dodgers and the Padres, and I'm gonna go with the Dodgers. Going with the LA Dodgers. Freddie Freeman's there, Mookie Betts. I mean, come on.
You know what? I'm going to go the other way, and I am going to say that this year it is the San Diego Padres year. Okay,
Nice.
They spent so much money. They made these huge pickups. Okay, you got Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr. is coming back. Okay, Manny Machado. Okay, do I have to go on? Jake Cronenworth. Okay,
You Darvish recently.
Yu Darvish on the staff. Like they have a dominating team, and they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs last year. Let's not sleep on that. Dodgers are going to make the playoffs. They might get 100 wins again. Okay, the problem with the Dodgers right now is their pitching, though. Their pitching is struggling a lot.
Going to be very interesting to see these divisions. They always come down to the last week. Always fun to watch. But that concludes our podcast for the week. Max, you wanted to debut a new segment for this podcast. Can you let the people know about this?
Yes. Okay. Moving into a new segment, everybody. We're going to do this one time a week. We have the biggest beefcake. All right. What we're going to talk about here are players in MLB that were juicing, that were just taking those steroids right up in the ass, and we're gonna talk about all of those players. Okay, 2 a week. Okay, so this week I want to discuss 2 players in Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Okay, now let's go back into the 90s when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa had that one summer when they were chasing the home run crown. That was of baseball. Like
they made a movie about it.
I will never forget the whole movie about it. Yeah, you're right. That was incredible. That was I remember my dad took me to some games because we wanted to go see Sammy. Both games that I went to, he had a hat trick and strikeouts. He struck in both games we went to. So that sucked. But I did see Mark McGwire hit one. That was But you know what's really funny about these guys is obviously they were juicing. Mark McGwire in the locker room was saying, "Hey, the things that I'm taking, it's legal. It's over the counter." And no, it wasn't. So caught you. You already said you're taking them. And then Sammy Sosa, I think we all remember at that trial when they're asking Sam, "Did you take steroids?" And he just went, "Did you speak English?" Nope. Nope.
Woo, Sammy.
Sammy Sosa also was one of my favorite players. But then once this whole thing happened, and then a lot of things went downhill after that for Sammy. This happened, and then I remember that the Cubs were trying to figure out his contract, and he sneezed and threw his back out.
Yeah.
What?
The corked bat.
Yeah. See, things just went right downhill for Sammy. Good for him. He hit over 600 home runs. How many of those home runs, Breezy, do you think were juiced on steroids?
I'd be upset to say all of them, but who knows when he started juicing?
Yeah,
Who knows? One other thing about Sammy, what happened to his skin color?
The way that I look at it is that once he decided that he's going to start juicing, the sun just wasn't shining as bright on him when he was playing out.
Well, that's tough for Sammy. Our favorite player growing up, but Sammy, if you're watching the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this week, shout out to you. Hope you're doing well.
Yep. Last thing I want to bring up with these guys was: have you ever seen Celebrity Deathmatch, Breezy?
Can't say I've ever seen that. Nope.
Okay, back in the 90s, early 2000s, on MTV, back when MTV was actually a good broadcasting station and not crap. The Celebrity Deathmatch, which was a show where these claymation or stop motion animation celebrities would fight each other. Okay, so they had and they're like anything goes. All this ridiculous stuff would happen where they're beating the shit out of each other. And so there was a match between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Okay, skipping forward, if those of you that were Celebrity Deathmatch fans, it was a good battle. But Mark McGwire, how he was beating the shit out of Sammy is he kept on taking pills. Muscle size, and then he took too many pills or I think Sammy Sosa switched his pills, like with the estrogen or something like that, and then he takes the pills and his muscles exploded, and then Sammy Sosa took a bat and then swung it across his face, and his Mark McGwire's head went out of the stadium for a home run. Sammy Sosa won. So if that person, buddy, to say that Sammy Sosa is the biggest juicer or Mark McGwire is, I'm sorry, that Sammy Sosa is or Mark McGwire is the biggest beefcake, we would like to get your votes. Who is the biggest beefcake? These are our first two that we'll be talking about. Once again, we have a lot of players that were juicing, so we'll be talking about a lot of them.
Too many guys have been juicing. I remember a report coming out over 200 guys was in it. But Sammy and Sosa, Mark McGwire, those two guys might be tough to beat in the biggest beefcake award. Max, it was great having you back on here, Mr. Broski. I can't wait to get into a possible top 10 mock draft for the NFL draft next week. That is the plan, to get Queef Sam on here to do that. Can't wait for that. Anything else you got for the people today, Max?
No, thank you everybody for coming out and watching and listening to the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast. It was great to be back. Thanks for having me back, Breezy. It feels good. Like this is my one thing that literally just relieves stress and makes me feel good about the world and whatnot when we're just fucking around basically and talking about the sports. Yeah, everybody, please if you can subscribe, leave some comments, let us know what you think about the biggest beefcake, and then we'll be for another great episode.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast on YouTube, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, don't tell Mama, baby. Juicing up.